Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Retail Tales, a podcast where we exclusively discuss all things AI across the retail value chain. I am Saurabh, and I'm your host for this podcast. I'd like to begin today's episode by sharing a quick personal experience from about a month ago. Picture this. I was picking up my 5-year-old son from his daycare on a Friday evening about a month ago. As he sat in the car, he told me that his daycare had asked all the kids to bring Bluetooth speakers to the daycare on Monday. They were supposed to learn about them, something about experiential learning. I was like, really? 5 years old, experiential learning about Bluetooth speakers? And that to individual ones. But anyway, I gave in, mostly because it was Friday evening and it was a hectic week. And on the way back home, he said he wanted to go with me to buy them. And with that, I had to throw all the hopes of online shopping for Bluetooth speakers out of the window. I said, "Of course, sweetheart, we'll go tomorrow." The next day, I took him to a nearby store to buy the best Bluetooth speakers for him. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. Cutting through the hustle and bustle of the store, we went straight to the electronics section. And here's where things started to become interesting. To start with, I found myself staring at a wall full of speakers. I mean, each of them with different features, sizes, and of course, prices. The choices were quite overwhelming for this experiential learning task. And add to that with the pressure of my son looking at me in anticipation. I'm his hero after all. I'm supposed to know everything about everything. Clearly, he's in for a rude awakening in a few years from now, if it takes him that long. But anyway, in that moment, I decided to ask for help from a squad member. I think that's what they call themselves at this store. And yes, heroes do ask for help sometimes. Should be a lesson for all the kids. After waiting for about 4 to 5 minutes, someone came over. He was very well-meaning, but was probably new and quite visibly was not very familiar with the product. He fumbled through a few explanations, leaving me even more confused than before. So I pulled out my phone and started reading online reviews for, some of my top choices. After about 15, maybe 20 minutes of comparing specs and prices and constant nagging from my son, I finally made a decision, grabbed one of those speakers and went to the checkout. As I was about to pay, I noticed a sign which read special 20% discount on Bluetooth speakers today. I asked the cashier about the discount, but was told that the discount was applicable on another brand. Now, I could have gone back and done some more research about that other brand, but that would have taken some more time with more nagging on a Saturday morning. So I decided to buy the ones I had already picked. As we headed out of the store, my son happily grabbed the box from me. But I kept wondering what this experience could have been with some of the next-gen technologies at play. How different this experience could have been with AI and generative AI capabilities. So in today's episode, I'd love to share some of my thoughts on that and highlight my list of top 5 applications of generative AI in retail. So let's get started. Look, as technology continues to evolve at a rapid pace, retailers have started to harness the power of generative AI to revolutionize customer experiences, streamline operations, and drive unprecedented growth. You all must have read about, market trends like almost 50% of retail executives believe that AI and generative AI capabilities will enhance supply chain visibility. Or over 40% of retail executives investing in AI-driven, personalized product recommendations, or even that 35% of the retailers, or I think it was a little bit just over 35% of retailers who are investing in AI and generative AI capabilities to improve workforce management. There are several of these kind of trends out there. And with such trends, it's no surprise that the most common question that at least I get asked from my retail clients and retail executives is, where's the biggest bang for the buck when it comes to application of GenAI capabilities across the retail value chain? Executives typically want to know where they should allocate their already scarce resources to maximize the impact and drive significant amount of value. Now, I fully realize that this question is targeted towards identifying and prioritizing GenAI use cases, but the way I respond to this line of questioning is by first aligning on a few points with them. In my experience, it's very crucial for retail leaders and decision makers to understand these points because there is so much misinformation out there. So before getting into the use cases or discussing their impact, I want to make sure that the baseline is established with these 3 points, which I call GenAI Anchors. And my first anchor is that GenAI is not a magic wand. It is magical, but that's when you apply it in the right areas along with the other AI capabilities, not in silos. Otherwise, you're pretty much trying to use GenAI as a hammer, which is, looking for a nail. My anchor number 2 is that AI and generative AI use cases, and especially generative AI use cases, are great front ends for users. But data is what drives this front end. Without relevant, accessible, and quality data, even the most sophisticated GenAI models or applications will fall short of delivering meaningful insights and outcomes. And then the anchor number 3 is that the real power of generative AI lies in its ability to augment human capabilities. It's about enabling your workforce to make better decisions faster and enhancing customer interactions with personalized experiences. When you integrate generative AI thoughtfully, it can truly transform the way retail businesses operate. It can drive innovation and create a competitive edge in the market. And speaking of creating competitive edge, let me also talk about the 3 value plays that the retailers should truly target in order to seize the opportunity that AI and generative AI capabilities present. Look, most retailers, even today, tend to think about the value of generative AI from a productivity enhancement lens. Now, while it's a good start, it's just like, scratching the surface. The true value unlock happens when retailers expand their focus beyond just productivity gains. I think limiting yourself with evaluating only productivity gains to prioritize AI and GenAI applications will not only constrain your potential as a retail organization, but also, and more importantly, diminish what you can achieve with AI and GenAI by leaving significant opportunities untapped. Actually, as I say all this, I think I'll do a complete episode focused on this over the next few weeks. I think it deserves a separate discussion. So, okay, coming back to the 3 value plays and the ways to measure the impact and track progress. The first one is growth-driven, which focuses on creating innovative and differentiated offerings at scale to enhance market positioning and grow market share. It can be measured through levers like average order value or basket size, customer acquisition rate, conversion rate, and so on. The second one is profitability play, which is about improving margins and bottom line by doing more with less and doing it at scale. This involves leveraging GenAI capabilities to, optimize operations, reduce costs, driving consistency, removing waste, and improving speed and efficiency across the retail value chain. It could be measured through SG&A costs, ROA, P&L impacts, and so on. And finally, the third value play is centered on human experience, with the word human encompassing both associates and customers. It's focused on providing fit-for-purpose and customized experiences to associates and customers. And it could be measured through levers like customer lifetime value, foot traffic, NPS and eNPS, and so on. The goal ultimately is to identify strategic opportunities where generative AI can deliver measurable improvements in top-line growth, bottom-line profitability, and human experience elevation. All right, so now that I've spoken about GenAI Anchors and measurable value plays, let me talk about my list of top 5 applications of generative AI in retail. Let me start this list with a GenAI-enabled shopping assistant or concierge. And I'm going to give it 2 flavors. First, online, and second, in-store. Online shopping assistant can help your customers stay within your ecosystem, basically, within your website or your mobile application to get what they're looking for. Look, it may seem like customers shop for products because traditionally, that's how search functionality was designed and even used. But if you try to understand the customer behavior, if you look more closely at the customer behavior, I'm sure you'll realize that customers typically shop for situations. I'm sure you do when you are a customer. Almost always, there's a context behind shopping. If someone's buying a beautiful floral dress, the context behind it could be an occasion coming up. If someone is buying online groceries, the additional context behind it could be a family of 4 or someone trying out a new recipe. With today's keyword-based searches for specific products, this underlying context or the situation gets completely missed. Online shopping assistants can give your customers the ability to share the full context of their situations and reasons. So you can help them with discovering products faster and in a better way. They can also help you upsell and cross-sell products based on the context or situation. But that's pre-purchase. During purchase, your customers get the ability to ask product-related questions rather than having to perform, endless back and forth scrolling on product pages, trying to find that specific piece of information with which they could make a buying decision and hit add to cart. They can also get summarized customer reviews and even get help with budgeting. Oh, by the way, did I mention that the additional context that you are able to gather with this could also help you further build your customer profile? Think about the impacts on CLTV and AOV with this. Think about the conversion rate and the customer retention with this kind of personalized assistance in shopping. Game changer, isn't it? Well, I'm not the only one saying it. In a market survey conducted to validate the interest in adopting GenAI-enabled shopping assistants, extremely strong demand signals were noted from both customers and retail executives. 100% of customers surveyed, 100% indicated interest in using GenAI-enabled shopping assistants for online shopping, with a little over 60% even highlighting the willingness to pay for such an application. And more than 85% of retail executives expressed interest in deploying such an application for their organizations. Is it futuristic? Absolutely not. It's already happening around us. Now, coming to the offline flavor, you could basically think about it as an online shopping assistant, but with a clienteling twist. Said differently, enabling online shopping assistants, but in the hands of your store associates, through tablets or other handheld devices, to help them provide a more personalized service and experience to in-store customers. Now, think about this kind of shopping assistant in the context of my Bluetooth speaker buying experience from a month ago. It would have been completely different than how it actually panned out. In my honest opinion, if the retailers which are still bullish about physical presence and brick and mortar stores, it's high time that they consider elevating customer experiences for every store visit. Keeping the stores neat and tidy, shelves stocked, having courteous associates, all these are table stakes. How you use technology to go over and beyond is becoming more crucial than ever. And before I forget, there's a hybrid flavor to online and offline shopping assistants as well. And it involves adding customer-facing devices or giving the ability in their mobile application itself when the customers are in store to serve as shopping assistants to customers for their in-store visits and a much, much more seamless experience. Okay, enough said on that one. The second one on my list is individualization. In my opinion, personalization is a little outdated. If I get an email with my name on it, is that personal enough? Yes, you know my name and my email ID because I explicitly shared them with you. But is that enough? Individualization is where the game needs to be played. That's way more nuanced than personalization. It's all about making a customer feel important at an individual level based on their existing customer profile, browsing history, purchasing behavior, and preferences. Things that make an individual customer unique. Retailers can use GenAI to create campaigns, marketing comms, promotional offers that are tailored to individual customer instead of, whole customer segment or a demographic group. So instead of showing people like you also like, or people who bought this also bought, you could be showing recommendations at an individual level. It should be looked as an experience-based growth play for a retailer from an impact perspective. Coming to the third GenAI application on my list, the third one is GenAI-enabled autonomous supply chain analysts, which can help with better supply chain decisions faster and with much more holistic information. For the lack of a better analogy, you could think of these as GenAI-enabled supply chain chatbots. These chatbots work off of a treasure trove of structured and unstructured data and get you near real-time insights, information, and trends rather than, making you wait for several hours or worse, several days to get the same analysis. The data could be structured like your inventory data, transportation data, order fulfillment records, or it could be unstructured like supplier emails, market news, or social media trends. By leveraging this diverse data set, these autonomous analysts can provide comprehensive and actionable insights that enable you to make more informed decisions quickly. This capability not only enhances the efficiency and responsiveness of your supply chain, but also helps in identifying potential disruptions, optimizing inventory levels, and improving the overall supply chain resilience. Okay, moving on to the fourth generative AI use case or the fourth generative AI application in retail. I think one of the key areas of GenAI application in retail should be customer service. Generative AI can revolutionize customer service by providing personalized and efficient interactions for customers. For instance, generative AI-powered virtual assistants can handle a wide range of customer inquiries, from product information to order tracking, and that too 24/7. These systems can understand and respond to customer queries in a natural language and provide a seamless and human-like interaction. It can also help with sentiment analysis, understanding customer emotions and feedback to continuously improve service quality and address any issues proactively. And then the last one on my list for today is generative AI to help with in-store operations management. That's one of the areas where retailers face significant challenges today, and especially with frontline workers' training needs, churn, and their expectation of a better experience. Generative AI can help with task management in retail stores, help in scheduling and managing tasks, ensuring that the right associates are assigned to the right tasks at the right time. By analyzing data from various sources, Gen AI can also help with predicting peak times and optimizing staffing levels accordingly. Gen AI-powered systems can also offer on-the-job training modules, answer associate questions, and even provide step-by-step instructions for complex tasks. Store managers can think of using generative AI capabilities to perform several simulations to run their stores in a much, much more seamless and autonomous manner. So that's my list. If any of these individual applications or these use cases seem way too futuristic to you, I can tell you this. If you aren't working on these already within your company, your competitors are. There are live examples of all these in retail today. If you'd like to discuss the where, the what, the who, the when, the why, and the how of any or all of these use cases, you know where to reach me. Look, if there's one thing that I want to leave you all with today, it will have to be the notion of leveraging generative AI capability in service of your enterprise goals and business objectives. Gen AI is not just a tool for optimization only. I repeat, Gen AI is not just a tool for optimization only, should not be limited to that. It's a catalyst for innovation and growth. Embrace this technology not just to improve what you already do, but to reimagine and elevate your entire business model to create a smarter, more responsive, and more resilient organization for the future. And on that note, it's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for listening. Here's me, Saurabh, signing off. If you like the content, don't forget to follow this show to keep learning a thing or two about retail AI. You can follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to this show on Spotify or Apple. Join me in the next episode of The Retail Tales, a podcast which is exclusively focused on exploring all things AI across the retail value chain. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay curious.